I have a very important question. Has anyone ever saved you? I used to believe a hero was someone who came at just the right moment. You know, someone who fixes things, helps people, and makes everything right again. I waited for someone like that in my own life. Well, not literally Superman, but someone, a mentor, a guide, a breakthrough, a sign. I thought one day someone's gonna show up and fix this. They'll tell me what to do. They'll pull me out of this mess. But nobody came. And at first, I thought that was the problem, that I've been forgotten, passed over, until I realized something I wish I'd known years earlier. No one is coming. And it's not a tragedy. It's an invitation, because the real enemy, it wasn't out there. It wasn't my nemesis. It wasn't even the world. It was me. Not in a self-hating way, and definitely not in a you're the villain of your own story type of way, but in a more subtle and quieter voice. It's those voices in your head that keep saying, you're not good enough. Don't even try. You'll just fail. It's safer not to hope. That was the version of me who pretended everything was fine. The version who stayed small because small felt safer than seen. But here's the twist. If I was the one standing in my own way, then I would also be the one who could move me forward. Let me tell you a little story about myself. Since I was little, I was always afraid of trying new things. I would cry easily just because I was scared. Scared of what would happen next. Scared of trying, because trying meant facing more. I used to be terrified of elevators. I would even throw a tantrum. I would cry, scream, even roll on the floor just to avoid going into the elevator. And it wasn't just that. I also hated the feeling or playing in the sand or muddy puddles. And I was afraid of performing or speaking in front of such a large audience. Those things might not be a pretty big deal to anyone here, but it was for me. And then I started asking this question to myself. If no one ever shows up to help me or save me from those fears, what am I gonna do? I froze. Not because it was painful, but because it was true. That question, that was me talking to me. And from that moment, I stopped waiting, and I realized heroism doesn't always have to be loud or dramatic. It could also be quiet, unseen, and ordinary. Like when I kept trying over and over again until one day I stepped into the elevator. No more tears, no more panic. I started performing in front of such a large audience and in many school events. Other than that, I also started joining lots of competitions, from gymnastics to academics, even research. And I realized that I didn't break. I was completely fine. Nothing happened. That was my first lesson. That you don't become courageous in just one leap. You become courageous by trying over and over again, even though you failed many times before. Keep showing up, because that's what real strength looks like. Not perfection, not medals, not applauses, but courage. And those small, quiet choices, they are heroic because they change everything, even if no one else sees it. So, if you're sitting here today waiting for a breakthrough, a guide, a sign, a rescue, let me say this with love. Stop waiting. You're already here. You are the one you've been waiting for. You don't need to be fearless. You don't need to have a perfect plan. You just need to begin. Yes, the process, it's often messy, but it's yours. Yes, the enemy is often inside us, but so is the hero. Thank you.